The other one, though, is Why by Annie Lennox. You know, that song, Why, constantly kills me.
Oh, my goodness.
And every time I listen to that song, I'm taken back to that exact time in my life and that exact moment and how I was feeling and everything around me that was going on. And every time I hear the song, it takes me back. And I play it on the piano sometimes myself. And when I'm depressed or something, I'll play it on the piano. But I love that song. And the lyrics to it, you know, really, she's asking, you know, what the fuck went wrong? You know, why? Basically, what's going on with this thing? But she's also talking about how she takes responsibility for some of it being her own fault, and also how she talks about how basically the overall sentiment is how the boat of their relationship is sinking. And can't you see this is happening to us, and why? What's causing it? What's going wrong? So there's really never an explanation. She doesn't really have an explanation for what went wrong or why it went awry, and so that's why I identify with that song so well. And in terms of Madonna, of course, I could name you 50 songs by Madonna that I won't go into that hold sentimental value to me. But that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Now, did you remember the part in the song Why, where she says, I tell myself too many times, why don't you ever learn to keep your big mouth shut?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, when she says that, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. Well, that's...
And now there is no other, and excuse me for bringing race into this, there is no other white woman who has as much soul as Annie Lennox, especially to have come from Ireland or what have you.
You know what's weird?
Honey, I don't know if she was listening to Motown in the shower. I don't know what she was doing. But
no, she has a great...
She's like, Dave Stewart, I've got something to say about you.
She does. That whole album was about that. her breakup.
What was that album's name? Was it
Diva? Diva.
Now, did you like the others? There was another song that she
Walking
did.
on Broken Glass, Cold, Precious. I mean, every fucking song on there I love. Hello.
Well, this is on. This isn't on the same one.
Oh, what song?
It's this one's. I think it's on Medusa. Maybe.
Oh God, that's a great album.
No More I Love Yous.
No More I Love You. Yeah, that's a song she actually wrote, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, what a creepy ass song, but boy, it stirs some emotion, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I was way too young to be listening to that. It screwed me up.
I was in college. Oh my God, I was a freshman in college.
Yeah. I was way too young.
Or not a freshman, but
sometimes there are demons in her room at night. I flipped out. It scared the hell out of me.
You should see the video. The video is quite weird as well.
I know.
Yeah.
But now she also did. Annie Lennox did, I think, on the same album, a cover of A Wider Shade of Pale.
Yeah, I love that version. Oh my God, it's my favorite. It's my all-time favorite version.
David, have you heard that? Her version, her cover of that song?
I don't think I know the song.
Babe, you need to look it up, honey.
Wider Shade of Pale is a classic song that actually was written by, I can't remember who sang it originally, but it was a black man, and it was written in the 60s.
It was Percy Sledge.
Percy Sledge, thank you.
Now, you won't believe this, but now I went to see Percy Sledge in concert.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat next to his wife, Rosa.
Yeah.
And you could see in her face that song took her back. You know, you could see in her movements and her gestures that when Percy was singing this song, it even affected her. So when I started to love the song, I think it was slightly before I had heard Annie Lennox sing it. I already knew there was something really powerful about it, even at a young age. But when Miss Lennox laid her hands on that, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Percy. I have to move on. I have to move on to Miss Annie because she's where it's at right now.
But that's one of the songs from that album. That guy I was dating at the time I was mentioning earlier, Kevin, actually dedicated one of those songs called "Something So Right" to me, because I wouldn't say I loved him so early on, but that's on the same album as well. But all those songs that she did in that album were standards. You know, they were like classic standards. So except the ones she wrote. So you may not have heard them before that, but they were all songs that had been done before. So
such a talented lady.
Yeah, she is. She's not dead.
Now, can I ask you a question, and you can tell me if it's none of my business? I would like to know.
Oh, I will.
Of course. I was wondering if your guy ever hears you play something on the piano that is reminiscent of that period, and if so, does it affect him at all?
He's unaffected by emotion. He's a very unemotional person, unlike me, which is one reason we somewhat work in some ways, because I'm an extremely emotional, sensitive person, and he's very stoic emotionally. And so he's not like as bad as he was when we first met. When we first met, he was like a robot. And now he's opened up because of my help and just therapy and stuff like that. But he's not perfect, but neither am I. So when I play stuff on the piano, typically he's oh, that sounds pretty, but he doesn't think of it as a emotional thing at all. So no.
So he doesn't make that. He doesn't make that connection.
No. I do whenever I play anything. I have some sort of emotional connection to it, whether I'm making it up or whether it's something I'm reading from music or whatever. But yeah, he doesn't know. No. I think that, that's in some ways good for some people to be that way, because I think that, and I've always wondered if I had been with someone like Kevin instead of with my current husband, we would have been basket cases because we were both extremely sensitive people. And so and I think it's good to have people who are sensitive to be, of course, to be more sensitive than my husband is in some ways. But I'm saying that having two people who are extremely emotional, extremely sensitive in the same relationship, I think would be a bad thing. So I'm somewhat proud and happy that he's that way, because when I'm spinning out of control emotionally, he helps reel me in.
He's something like a touchstone.
Yeah, and when he's being completely robotic, I'm like, feel something, fucker.
The voice you're now hearing is Eileen Beats from The Exorcist.
Yeah. So anyway, it's frustrating, but it's somehow most of the time, in most aspects of a relationship, it works fine. So yeah.
Well, since you can tell me no if you want, but I would really like to throw in another song that I hear, because you guys picked two, and I was stuck between two, and I wasn't quite sure which one.
Okay, what's the other one?
Okay, no, I'm lying. I was not stuck between the two. I said to myself, boy, if I change my mind at the last minute, I'll pick this other song. But it's called, and you feel free to laugh, and you won't believe it, but it's a song by Pink called "Don't Let Me Get Me."
Don't Let Me Get Me. I've never heard that.
So,
That's a good
no
song.
Way. Oh, Donovan. Oh, I wish we had the rights to play that song. That's
when
one.
she went pop. That was the first song after she stopped doing the R&B. That was her first kind of
never
pop
win
style.
first place. I don't support the team. I can't take direction, and my socks are never clean. Teachers dated
That's
me.
right.
My parents hated me.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
all? Okay.
I was always in a fight because I can't do nothing right. And the other lyric I like is, I'm tired of being compared to damn Britney Spears. She's so pretty. And that just ain't me.
Oh, I've heard this song. I've heard this song.
No,
I didn't know that was the name of it, though.
Oh, well, it's maybe it is. Is that the right time?
Yeah, Don't Let Me Get Me.
Yeah. It's really, now, listen, I would be driving to school, and I would have the Pink CD. I would put it in, and I would hit repeat, because that song just was so liberating to be like, look, I am a hazard to myself, and I'm obviously falling apart. But you know what? I'm gonna rock out to some Pink and be okay anyhow.
That album, because I saw this whole thing about her on, whom I love her, by the way. She's fantastic. But I saw her on Behind the Music, or not Behind the Music, one of those retrospective shows like that, and talking about her life and stuff. And that was the first album, The Misunderstood or whatever, that she actually wrote herself, that she had complete control over. Before that, they kept trying to form her image into something, you know what I mean? Something really
they
Britney Spears-esque.
Yeah.
And she's like, nope, that's not me. So I'm glad she did that. That's why I love her, because she's just herself. She's fantastic.
I heard, I had heard, so I guess it's been some time ago, that Pink was hiking up in some California canyon. She's by herself, and she starts to sing. And apparently all of the other hikers throughout the canyon heard this voice. They had no idea who it belonged to whom it belonged. And they all kind of followed the voice, and they all kind of converge at the same time. And they're like, damn, it's Pink. You were up here on a mountaintop, Siren, letting it out. And
wow.
You know what? I don't know what she's doing right now, but I love her. I adore her.
I think she just toured or is about to tour, one or the other. I saw her in something.
I think she's still on tour, actually.
Oh, okay.
Now, is she still married? Now,
yeah.
She's still
Corey Hart. Mm-hmm. They were separated for a while. I don't know if they got divorced or not. They may have, and they got back together. Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't think of two other people who are better suited for one another. Can you?
Seemingly so. I don't know what happens behind closed doors, but seemingly so.
He's on that dirt bike and acting all crazy, and she's reminiscent some duct tape lesbian. I love it. I love it. I mean, to be a fly on the wall in that bedroom,
no
just
thanks.
have been in the bedroom. I could have been anything. I would have whipped out my phone and took a little video.
I thought you were going to say your penis. Okay, that's good. You said your phone.
Depends. It depends. But very few people affect me the way that Stevie Nicks does.
Mhm.
The in any music that she does. Donovan was talking about the song that she did. Has anyone ever written anything for you?
Mm.
Which was written about a guy that she was seeing from the Eagles. She dated Don Henley, and then she dated Bob Walsh. Bob Welsh,
I don't know the other guy's
whatever
name.
his name is, Bob Walsh. Anyway, so he was telling her this story about this little girl who this little girl and her mommy get in a car, and they're on their way to school, and they were hit as they were coming out of their driveway, and they were both instantly killed. And he was telling Stevie this story, and he's driving along, and he took her to the graveyard, and he shows her the tombstone, and the little girl was his little girl. And next to her tombstone, he had a fountain built, a smaller fountain, and it read something like, "For all of those who aren't or who can't or are not big enough to get a drink." And so that song that Stevie does, it really does affect me a lot because of that story. But but it has no like personal effect on me. Nothing like Sisters of the Moon for sure. But the only other person who really gets me the way Stevie Nicks does is Mr. Rob Thomas from the Matchbox 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now you say, now I would like to know what you meant by that.
Well, I liked his music when he was in the Matchbox 20 and when he's a solo artist as well, in the late 90s or whatever, specifically early 2000s. And I still like him now. I don't know. He doesn't really move me emotionally. You know what I mean? That's just me though. Just me.
Oh, but honey, have you seen him do that song, Smooth? He did it with
Santana. Mm-hmm, of course.
But there's a YouTube video where he does like an acoustic version.
The black and white one?
I
think it's black and
the
white.
one I saw was in color. It was like filmed from one of his concerts or something.
Oh, okay.
And I played that song. I was in bed. I was playing the YouTube. I saw him sing this song, and I was like, I'm going to have to get up out of this bed and go to slow dance by myself in the living room. So I dimmed the lights down, light a few candles. I've got Rob Thomas singing in my ear, and I'm all swaying around like I'm some drunk housewife trying to feel something. And my girlfriend Jacqueline was like, "So you're alone and you're slow dancing by yourself. Now, is that code for masturbation?" I was like, "No."
Well, there was one song of his that I remember that I loved that was moving, and that was "Back to Good." Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
That's a really good song. I love that song. I forgot about that one. But generally speaking, he's more of I think it's something about, I love ballads. Just in general, I love ballads because I'm a sap, emotional sap, and sensitive and all that shit. So I love ballads, and so that's why I identify with him. And so his music to me, even though he's had a couple ballads, I think it's more rock, or not rock, hard rock, but rock. And so it's not really like pop rock. So to me, it doesn't really move me as much as something like soul music would move me more than that, or R&B, or something like Annie Lennox or something would move me more than his music. His music is just seemingly more like I'm making music because I want to, and it doesn't mean
but don't you think he's pretty?
No, not really.
What?
I don't.
David, stand up for me. Don't you think he's a little trashy but cute?
The guy from Matchbox 20?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Does he have curly black hair or something like that?
Yeah, mousy brown, but yeah.
He's all right.
I mean, he's not unattractive. He's not ugly. He's just not something I'd write home about.
When he sings, "I want to push you around and I will," I will. It does stuff to me. It makes me want. It makes me.
I don't think he meant physically in that though.
Well, I didn't mind how he meant it. He may have done it one way, but my loins were going in a completely different direction. But it's one of those songs. It's just like it really, really. I love it. I love it. I love him.
I can hear it in my head. What? that song, the beginning of it goes. It does.
You have lost.
No, I have not. Mind. I can hear it in my head. It goes. Wait, let me think. Da-na-da-na-na-na-na. Fuck it. I can't think of the lyrics, but I can hear the song in my head. Is that the song you're talking about? Pushed. I wanna wait. Oh, that's the other song. Never mind. Sorry. The one I'm thinking of is it starts off like da 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 da. You know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Oh my god! Somebody listening to this show, you know what I'm talking about. I know you do because it's a very popular song.
Go to the chat room and put the answer in there because I'm like, Listen, if I start on a Matchbox 20 marathon right now, I won't get to bed till tomorrow sometime.
No, I just wanted to. I just know this is a song. Which one is it? Is it Unwell? No, it's not Unwell. That's a slow song too. It's dun, 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 dun. But she means to me. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, show me how you feel. That song.
Oh yeah, More Than Ever, baby.
That's it. See, I knew I was talking.
Yeah,
See, am I crazy? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking.